Hello. I am so glad you decided to spend some time with me today. Welcome back to TrueGritEnglish. Take a moment to settle in. Sit back. Relax your shoulders. Clear your mind. This is your time. This is a space for your growth and your future. At TrueGritEnglish, we meet here every single day. We share these moments because we believe in the power of daily habits. Small steps lead to big changes. If you enjoy these daily talks, please consider subscribing to our channel. By joining us, you tell yourself that your progress matters. You are part of a community that values strength and self-belief. Now, let's talk about something that sits inside all of us. It is quiet. It is invisible, but it is very powerful. Imagine you are standing in a large, beautiful room. The sun is shining through the windows. You look up and you see the blue sky. You see the clouds moving. You see birds flying high above. You want to go up there. You want to reach for that open space. But as you reach out your hand, you hit something. It is cold. It is hard. It is a ceiling made of glass. Because the ceiling is glass, you can see the sky. You know the sky is there. But the glass keeps you trapped in the room. No matter how high you jump, you hit that barrier. After a while, you stop jumping. You stop looking up. You stay in the middle of the room. You tell yourself, this is as far as I can go. This is what we call the inner glass ceiling. It is not a real ceiling. You cannot touch it with your hands. You cannot see it with your eyes. It is a ceiling built inside your mind. It is made of all the things you believe you cannot do. It is made of the limits you have set for yourself. Think about your English journey. Think about your job. Think about your personal goals. Have you ever felt like there is a limit on how good you can be? Have you ever thought, I will never be truly fluent, or I am not the kind of person who leads others? When you think those thoughts, you are looking at your glass ceiling. You see the success of others through the glass, but you believe you are not allowed to reach it. You believe that some people are meant for the sky, and you are meant for the room. But I want to tell you a secret. The glass is not real. It is an illusion. And today, we are going to learn how to break it. Where does this ceiling come from? It does not appear overnight. We build it slowly. We build it one brick at a time. Every time you fail at something and say, I am a failure, you add a brick. Every time someone tells you that you are too old or not smart enough, and you believe them, you add a brick. Every time you stay quiet because you are afraid of making a mistake, you add a brick. Soon, the bricks become a wall. The wall becomes a ceiling. You get comfortable in your small space. It feels safe there. In that small space, no one can laugh at you. In that space, you don't have to take risks. But the air in that room is stale. You are not meant to stay in a small room. You are meant to grow. You are meant to expand. You are a human being, and the nature of a human being is to reach for more. If you feel stuck right now, it is not because you lack talent. It is not because you lack luck. It is because you have reached the limit of your own belief. You have hit your head against the glass. I want you to stop and think about this for a moment. I want you to look up at your own ceiling. What does your ceiling look like? For some, the ceiling is fear. For others, it is a lack of confidence. For many language learners, the ceiling is the belief that I will always have an accent, or I am just not good at languages. The most dangerous thing about the inner glass ceiling is that it feels like a fact. It feels like the truth. You say, I can't speak English well, and it feels as true as saying the sun is hot. But it is not a fact. It is a story. It is a story you have told yourself for so long that you have started to believe it. I have seen many students who are very smart. They study hard. They know all the rules. But when it is time to speak, they freeze. They stop. They hit the glass. They are afraid that if they speak, people will see that they aren't perfect. Their ceiling is the need to be perfect. They would rather stay silent in the room than risk a mistake in the open sky. Do you do this? Do you hold yourself back because you are waiting to be perfect? Perfection is a heavy ceiling. It is a thick, dark glass. It blocks the sun. It keeps you from ever starting. We need to realize that the ceiling only stays strong as long as we don't touch it. We need to realize that we are the ones holding the ceiling up. Think about an elephant at a circus. When the elephant is a baby, the trainer ties a heavy rope around its leg. The rope is attached to a strong wooden post in the ground. The baby elephant pulls and pulls. It tries to break free, but the rope is too strong. Finally, the baby elephant stops trying. It believes it cannot move. Years pass. The elephant grows into a giant, powerful animal. It could easily pull the post out of the ground. It could break the rope like a piece of thread. But the elephant does not try. Why? Because it still believes it is trapped. The rope is not holding the elephant. The memory of the rope is holding the elephant. The elephant has an inner glass ceiling. It sees the world, but it stays in one spot. It stays small even though it is a giant. You are a giant. You have so much power inside you. You have the ability to learn, to change, and to lead. But you are still acting like that baby elephant. You are still listening to old memories of failure. You are still feeling the pull of a rope that isn't even there. In this video, we are going to explore how to shatter that glass. We are going to look at the tools you need to break through. Breaking the ceiling is not about being perfect. It is not about knowing everything. It is about bravery. It is about being willing to hit the glass until it cracks. Most people spend their whole lives in the room. They die with their music still inside them. They die with their potential still locked away. They were too afraid of the crunch of breaking glass. But you are here. You are listening to this because you want more. You know that you are capable of more. I want you to feel that desire. I want you to feel that hunger. It is okay to want to be great. It is okay to want to be fluent. It is okay to want a better life. That hunger is the hammer you will use to break the glass. In the next part, we are going to talk about why we build these ceilings in the first place. Why does our brain try to keep us small? Why is it so hard to step out into the sky? When we understand why we are afraid, the fear starts to lose its power. Stay with me. Let's look at the source of these barriers. Let's find out why we hold ourselves back. We are going to take the first step toward the sky. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we stay in a small room when the sky is so big? It sounds strange when you think about it. We all want to be successful. We all want to speak English perfectly. We all want to be happy. But often, we are the ones stopping our own progress. We are the ones holding the glass ceiling in place. There is a very simple reason for this. It is your brain. Your brain is a wonderful tool. It helps you solve problems. It helps you remember your way home. But your brain has a very old job. Its main job is not to make you successful. Its main job is to keep you safe. To your brain, safe means the same. Your brain likes things that are familiar. It likes the job you have had for 5 years, even if you hate it. It likes the way you speak right now, even if you want to be better. Why? Because the brain knows you can survive in your current life. It knows that your current room is not dangerous. When you try to break the glass ceiling, your brain gets worried. It sees change as a threat. It sees growth as a risk. To your brain, stepping out into the unknown sky feels like stepping off a cliff. So, your brain starts to whisper to you. It uses a very quiet, very convincing voice. It says things like, "Why are you studying so hard? You're fine the way you are." Or it says, "Don't raise your hand to speak. People might think you sound silly." This is fear, but it is not the fear of a monster. It is the fear of being different. It is the fear of the new you. Your brain is trying to protect the old you. It is trying to keep you under the glass because it knows exactly how to live there. Think about your comfort zone. We talk about the comfort zone a lot, but what is it really? It is the area where your glass ceiling begins. Imagine you are wearing a pair of shoes that are too small. They hurt your feet. They make it hard to walk. But you have worn them for years. You know exactly where they hurt. You are used to the pain. One day, someone offers you a brand new pair of shoes. They are the right size. They are comfortable, but they feel different. They change the way you walk. They feel strange. Many people will actually put the old, painful shoes back on. Why? Because the old pain feels safe, and the new comfort feels scary. This happens in language learning all the time. You might have a certain level of English. It is not great, but it works. You can survive. To reach the next level, you have to try new things. You have to make new mistakes. You have to feel like a beginner again. This feels uncomfortable. Your brain says, go back. Go back to the small shoes. Stay in the small room. And so, you stop trying. You stay under the glass. Not because you are lazy, but because your brain convinced you that being stuck is safer than being new. There is another reason we hold ourselves back. I call it the echoes of the past. Think back to when you were a child. Maybe you had a teacher who told you that you weren't good at math. Maybe you had a classmate who laughed when you said a word wrong. Maybe you had parents who told you to be realistic instead of dreaming big. At the time, you were young. You didn't know any better. You believed them. You took those words and you used them to build your ceiling. Now, you are an adult. You are strong. You are capable. But those old voices are still there. They are echoes in your mind. When you try to do something big, you hear that old teacher or that old classmate. You think the voice is yours, but it isn't. It is a ghost. These echoes create a self-image. Your self-image is the picture you have of yourself in your heart. If your picture says, I am a slow learner, then you will act like a slow learner. Even if you are actually very fast, you will slow yourself down to match the picture. You will stay under the ceiling because your self-image tells you that you don't belong in the sky. I want to ask you a question. It is a very important question. Who told you that you couldn't do it? Think about that for a second. Who told you that you reached your limit? Was it a scientist? Was it a king? No. It was probably a scared child from your past. Or it was a person who was too afraid to break their own ceiling, so they wanted you to stay under yours. The limits you feel are not real physical walls. They are mental habits. If you walk into a dark room, you might think there is a wall in front of you. You stop walking because you are afraid of hitting it. But if you turn on the light, you see that the room is empty. There was nothing there but shadows. Your inner glass ceiling is made of shadows. It is made of what if, and I should have, and they will laugh. But shadows cannot stop a person who is moving forward. Shadows have no mass. They have no strength. The only power a shadow has is the power you give it by being afraid. We stay small because we are waiting for permission. We wait for someone to come and tell us, okay, you are good enough now. You can break the glass. We wait for a certificate. We wait for a perfect score. We wait for someone else to open the door. But no one is coming. There is no king. There is no magic teacher who can give you permission to be great. You are the only person who can give yourself permission. You have to be the one to say, I am tired of this small room. I am tired of looking at the sky through a barrier. I am ready to feel uncomfortable. I am ready to be scared. I am ready to grow. When you say that, the ceiling starts to shake. When you stop listening to the echoes, the glass starts to thin. But how do we actually break it? Knowing why we are stuck is the first step. But the second step is action. You cannot think your way through a glass ceiling. You have to strike it. You have to make it crack. In the next part, we are going to talk about the first crack. We are going to look at the exact tools you can use to start shattering these limits. We are going to move from thinking to doing. The sky is still there. It is waiting for you. Let's get ready to make some noise. Let's learn how to break the glass. We have looked at the ceiling. We know it is there. We also know why our brain wants us to stay under it. Now comes the most exciting part. Now, we talk about the hammer. How do we actually break through? Many people think that breaking a glass ceiling requires a huge, life-changing event. They think they need a miracle. They think they need to quit their job or move to a new country tomorrow. But that is not how it works. You don't break a glass ceiling with one giant explosion. You break it with the first crack. The first crack comes from a very small shift in your language. It comes from one tiny word. That word is yet. Listen to the difference between these two sentences. Sentence 1. I cannot speak English fluently. Sentence 2. I cannot speak English fluently yet. Do you feel that? The first sentence is a wall. It is a thick sheet of glass. It says the story is over. It says the room is your permanent home. But when you add, yet, you create a crack. You are telling your brain that the current situation is only temporary. You are admitting that you are on a journey. Yet is a hammer. Every time you catch yourself saying, I don't know, or I'm not good at this, I want you to stop. Take a breath and add yet. I don't understand this grammar yet. I'm not comfortable giving a speech yet. This small change begins to weaken the glass. It prepares your mind for the possibility of the sky. It moves you from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. You are no longer trapped by who you are. You are defined by who you are becoming. Once you have made the first crack with your words, you must follow it with action. But here is the secret. The action should be small. If you want to break a large window, you don't need a mountain. You just need a small, hard stone. In your life, those stones are micro-challenges. A micro-challenge is a task that is just 1 inch outside of your comfort zone. It is something that makes your heart beat a little faster, but it doesn't terrify you. For a language learner, a micro-challenge might be leaving a voice message instead of a text. It might be asking one question in a meeting. It might be reading 1 page of a book without using a dictionary. When you complete a micro-challenge, the glass cracks again. You are proving to your brain that you didn't die. You stepped out of the safe zone, and you survived. Your brain starts to think, oh, maybe the sky isn't so dangerous after all. Success is a series of small cracks. Each crack lets in a little more light. Each crack makes the ceiling a little weaker. Eventually, the glass becomes so thin that it cannot hold you anymore. Think about a person who is afraid of water. They don't jump into the middle of the ocean. They put 1 toe in the water. Then they step into the shallow end. Then they go to their waist. Every step is a micro-challenge. Before they know it, they are swimming. They didn't overcome fear. They walked through it, 1 small crack at a time. One day, she decided to make a crack. She didn't give a big presentation. She just decided to say 1 thing during a team meeting. Just 1 sentence. Her heart was pounding. Her hands were shaking. She said, I think we should use a brighter color for this logo. That was it. That was her hammer. That was the first crack. The next week, she said 2 things. A month later, she led a small meeting. She didn't change her personality. She just stopped believing in the glass. She realized the only thing holding her back was her own silence. Today, she runs her own design firm. The ceiling is gone. I want you to identify your small stone today. What is 1 tiny thing you can do that scares you just a little bit? Maybe it is saying hello to a neighbor in English. Maybe it is writing a comment on a video like this one. Maybe it is recording yourself speaking and listening to it. Do not wait for the fear to go away. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is doing the thing while your hands are still shaking. Every time you act while feeling afraid, you are hitting the glass. The glass ceiling stays strong because we respect it. We treat it like a real wall. But glass is actually very fragile. It only looks strong until the first crack appears. Once that crack starts to spread, the whole structure loses its power. You might be worried about the mess. You might think, if I break the glass, things will get complicated. My life will change. People will expect more from me. Remember, the glass ceiling is a habit of thought. And habits are broken by new actions. The ceiling is not as strong as you think. You are much heavier than the glass. You are a mountain, and the glass is just a thin layer of ice. All you have to do is stand up. All you have to do is put your weight against it. But what happens after the glass breaks? What does it feel like to stand in a place with no roof? For many people, this is the scariest part. You have already made the first crack by being here. Let's keep hitting the glass together. So, you have done it. You used the hammer. You took the small steps. You said the word, yet, until the glass started to shatter. The pieces are on the floor. You look up, and for the first time, there is nothing between you and the blue sky. This is the moment you dreamed about. But I want to be honest with you. This moment can feel very strange. When the ceiling is gone, the room feels different. The air is colder. The light is much brighter. For a moment, you might actually miss your small room. You might feel a little bit naked without your old limits. Think about a bird that has lived in a small cage for years. Every day, the bird looked through the wires and wanted to fly. Then, one day, the door opens. The cage is gone. The bird can go anywhere. What does the bird do? Often, the bird stays exactly where it is. It sits on the floor of the open cage. It looks at the trees and the wind, but it does not move. The bird is not trapped by wires anymore. It is trapped by the habit of being a prisoner. You might feel this in your English studies. Maybe you finally reach a level where you can have a conversation. The ceiling of "I can't speak" is broken. But suddenly, you feel more nervous than before. You realize how many words you still don't know. You realize how fast native speakers really talk. Under the glass, you had an excuse. You could say, "I'm just a beginner." But now that the glass is gone, you are a speaker. That feels like a lot of pressure. You might want to run back to your old room where things were quiet and safe. Most of us have a success thermostat inside our minds. A thermostat is a machine that keeps a room at a certain temperature. If the room gets too hot, the machine turns on the cooling. If it gets too cold, it turns on the heat. To live without a roof, you have to change your settings. You have to stop telling yourself, "I am trying to learn English." You have to start saying, "I am a communicator." You have to stop saying, "I am looking for a chance." You have to start saying, "I am ready for my future." You have to accept that you belong in the big room. You have to believe that the light and the wind are for you. You are not a guest in the sky. You are a citizen of it. Let's talk about the pressure of the open sky. When you have no limits, you have a lot of choices. And choices can be scary. In the small room, your path was simple. You just sat there. But in the big room, you can go left, right, up, or down. Some people get choice paralysis. They are so afraid of going the wrong way that they don't move at all. If you feel this way, remember your stones. Remember the micro challenges. Even without a roof, you don't have to fly to the sun in one day. You just have to take one step. In this vision, you have been living without a ceiling for 12 months. You have faced the wind. You have felt the bright sun. You have made mistakes in the open air, and you have learned from them. How do you look? How do you walk? You probably stand a little taller. Your voice is probably a little clearer. You don't look like someone who is hiding. You look like someone who belongs. This person, the future you, is waiting for you to get used to the freedom. They are not better than you. They are just you, without the habit of fear. Sometimes, living without a roof means you will get rained on. You will have days where the weather is bad. In the small room, you are dry. In the big room, you will get wet. But getting wet is a sign that you are alive. It is a sign that you are part of the real world. This is the true grit way of living. We don't just break the glass to sit in the sun. Urinin do moli gagi ie urider gemida. We break the glass so we can see how much more we are capable of. You have survived the first crack. You have survived the shattering. You are standing in the open space right now. Don't look down at the broken glass. Look up at the distance you can travel. In the final part of our journey, we are going to talk about the why. We are going to look at the responsibility we have to our own potential. We are going to find the fire that keeps us moving upward, no matter how high we get. We have reached the end of our journey today. But really, this is just the beginning of yours. We have spent 30 minutes talking about ceilings, glass, and hammers. We have talked about the fear that keeps us small and the courage that makes us big. Now, I want you to take a deep breath. Feel the air in your lungs. Feel the ground under your feet. This is your life. It is happening right now. It is not a practice run. It is not a rehearsal. This is the real thing. Sometimes, we live as if we have an infinite amount of time. We tell ourselves, "I will start my dream next year," or "I will focus on my growth when I am less busy." But the truth is, the only time we ever truly have is this moment. When you allow an inner glass ceiling to stay in place, you are wasting those gifts. You are like a painter with 1,000 colors who only uses gray. You are like a singer who only whispers. Why would you do that? Why would you live a small life when a big one is possible? The world does not benefit from you staying small. Your family does not benefit from you being afraid. You are at your best when you are reaching. You are most alive when you are breaking through. But then, there is you. You are looking up. You are hitting the glass. You are making noise. When you break your glass, something amazing happens. The people in the boxes near you hear the sound. They see you step out into the grass. They see you breathe the fresh air. You have a responsibility to your potential, not because you have to prove something to others, but because you owe it to yourself to see what you are made of. You owe it to the person you were as a child, the child who believed that anything was possible. I want to thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring enough about your life to spend this time with me. Remember, progress is not about being perfect. It is about being persistent. It is about waking up every day and choosing the sky over the room. It is about saying, yet, when things are hard. It is about taking that one small step into the unknown. You are a creator. You are an explorer. You are a person of strength. The room you are standing in right now is just a starting point. It is not your destination. Take one more breath. A long, slow breath. Stay with us here every day as we continue this journey together. Subscribe if you haven't already, and join this community of people who refuse to stay small. We are proud of you. We are rooting for you. And we can't wait to see you fly. Look up. The glass is gone. There are no walls.